Hey guys, share my screen with my audience. Okay. How are you this evening? It is DrDeb, and this time it's really evening. It's like late. It's 9 o'clock at night, and I don't expect anybody to be on because I switched times only 24 hours ago, and you're so used to the afternoon. But on the other hand, I thought, hey, what's the difference? If I do it in the nighttime, maybe more people are going to be on. And that's what I'm hoping for. However, the question is, are you exhausted? Because I'm exhausted. I am exhausted. I don't know about you. Let me see if I can fix the light on this. I don't know if that's an improvement. Maybe it is. All right, guys. So let's get right into tonight's talk. I am reviewing a video that was on YouTube called 4 Ways to Torture the Narcissist. And by the way, guys, I'm DrDeb, like I said, and I like interruptions. I want interruptions. So just chat. And if you see this on replay, comment, please. I will answer every comment. Don't be shy. I know people only comment when they see 500 comments there, but I just started this channel up a couple months ago, so you're not going to see 500 comments there. You will in a few years, but not right away. It just takes time. Just comment anyway. All right, you guys. This was done by somebody named Richard Grannon, who I looked him up, is not a therapist. He's a coach. And I could not for the life of me understand why someone would do a YouTube video called 4 Ways to Torture a Narcissist, the Narcissist. But I felt like it is time that narcissists had somebody speaking up for them. And I want to just say one good thing about this Grannon guy. At the very end, because I actually watched the video, at the very end of the video, he admits the truth. I don't know if you saw my cute little drawing with the stick figure beating the child. The child is the narcissist, okay? The child is that narcissist who may be acting terrible, but he admits that the terrible behavior came from childhood abuse. Now, what he doesn't say, and I'd like to address right now before I get into the review, is a question I've heard from many people because I see couples, right? That's my thing. I see couples and I believe their problems originated in childhood trauma, usually abuse, which is a kind of trauma. And they ask me, one person will say, I also suffered trauma. Why am I a nice person? And my spouse, who suffered trauma, is not a nice person. What's going on with that? The answer is everyone had some different experience. And our society forces men, and yeah, we call it a patriarchy, but who's causing that patriarchy? Our society forces men to look at their emotions as a horrible thing. They're not allowed to feel pain. They're not allowed to be sad. So what happens when men do feel those things? Well, they have to shut them down. And when you grow up with all that stuff shut down, you could become what society would like to call a narcissist. And to understand more about how narcissists come about, please see my other videos. I made a new YouTube channel, a new YouTube playlist in my videos and in my channel, and I wanted to put it there for narcissism. So you might look there for other more deep explanations of the narcissism. But I'm going to interrupt myself. I see more people joining. Please chat in. Say hi. Tell me if you can hear me. Tell me if you found it okay. Tell me if you like 9 o'clock at night Eastern time, because I'm tired, but I did make a commitment that if more people show up at night, I'll do the night, even though I never asked about Thursday. That just sort of came up. Getting back to my thing. So Grannon says, yeah, narcissists were abused as children. And because they were abused as children, they developed this shield, this protection, which, thank you for the thumbs up, they developed something to protect themselves from being ashamed, hurt, humiliated, a protection. If the kid was humiliated too much, and he doesn't go into this, of course not. He has zero empathy, I could see. But if a person was, then they might develop a false sense of self, right? So that they could feel good about themselves to combat all that humiliation that they suffered. Listen, guys, that's not the way to do it. It's not the way to do it, to take darts and shoot the narcissist down with those darts. It's not the way to do it, to make a video in which you actually go over how to torture a narcissist. And I honestly thought, oh, he's joking. He couldn't mean that, but he wasn't joking. And I'm going to quote, I actually took notes, and I'm going to quote what he said. It's unbelievable to me. It's just unbelievable. If you want to create distress, anxiety, anguish, uncertainty, insecurity in the narcissist, do these 4 things. What? You know, Gabor Mate is a big advocate for addicts. And he made the following point. He said, an awful lot of addicts grew up in a very painful, dysfunctional home, probably most of them. And then they got into drugs, and then they get tossed in jail, so they're punished twice. First, for whatever, being alive in that horrible environment growing up, and they found something to soothe themselves. So what happens in jail? They're punished all over again. Huh? What logic is there? Is that the way to heal? Okay, I get taking dangerous people off the street, and I get if you want to divorce your narcissist, go ahead. That's your privilege. But torture? Are you kidding me? All right, on October 7th, I realized that we didn't come so far out of the dark ages. There is barbarism in this country, in this world. Okay, but please, torture? No. And then he goes on to give you exactly how to torture. And he says, number 1, reduce their significance in your life. Grieve for the loss of the relationship, but let go of it. Turn your back. Don't see them anymore. Wash your hands. Why? Hello? Why? Maybe somebody wants to take his defense here. Somebody maybe wants to explain why. I would love for you guys to chat and tell me why. I seriously would love to hear why. If anybody can defend this guy, that would be great. I mean, there are 1,000 videos out there on YouTube all about how terrible narcissists are. And therefore, it's a free card to do anything with them. No, In fact, at the very end of his video, he also says something else which is super important. And I think the crux of why he's taking this wrong-headed position. He is saying this: when a person was a child that was tortured and tormented and therefore forced to develop this false sense of self because he didn't get the real sense of self from his family, and he needed to do that to just survive, his true self dies. That's what Grannon says. I'm quoting Richard Grannon. It's not true. That is a lie, a lie, a lie. Do not believe it for 1 minute. And I'm going to tell you why it's a lie. Because there is no such thing as a true self dying. There is no such thing as a person being unredeemable. Yes, they can be evil and they can choose to remain evil if they are. You know, just as a great example, on October 7th, terrorists came through the gates in Israel and murdered a lot of people and tormented a lot of people, tortured a lot of people. And over the course of the last 4 or 5 months, the Israeli army has captured a lot of these terrorists. Now, they committed evil acts. Do you know? I want you to hear this because you may not know. They aren't even evil themselves. It turned out they were brainwashed. They were brainwashed into thinking that their Bible told them that they should do this. They were brainwashed into thinking that Israelis are evil when they aren't. They're just like anybody else. Even they aren't evil. They're acting evil, all right. And in jail and under interrogation, they're starting to say, wait a minute, these Israelis aren't even so bad. Maybe I did something mistaken. There is no human being alive who has lost their soul, who has lost their self. Just not true. Just not true. So when you have a narcissist, this poor child was forced to become that in order to survive. He's not lost himself. His self can be reclaimed. It's there. It always was there. It never disappeared. Listen, I saw somebody drop off. The number just went down by 1. Rather argue with me. Go in the chat and tell me I'm all wrong. Tell me, DrDeb, you don't know what you're talking about. Please don't drop off. I want to hear your opinion. It's a good thing. Your opinion counts, and I would never discount it. So let's go into his 4 things, and let's show you one by one. He's so mistaken. All right, the first thing he says is reduce their significance in your life. Let go. Interestingly enough, I just had a conference with a psychologist. She's in another state. She's not New York, and it had nothing to do with my work or her work, but we were talking about something professional, and she happened to mention her parents, her mother is a narcissist, psychologist teaching in university. What's going on? She said, my mother and I have worked it out. And I know I can't expect from her what you might want from a mother, but it's okay. I'm a grown-up. I have children of my own. We're doing fine. And I still have a relationship with my parents. And do you know what? Sometimes I wish I could just bring over a pot of soup, and I do. I'm thinking that's beautiful. She's a grown-up. She's not looking to gain something from this narcissistic mom. She knows the narcissist has limitations. Now, is it true that any narcissist must have limitations? No. If you marry someone that's a narcissist and they're willing to go to therapy because they want you, they want the marriage, then hey, let them go to therapy. And I'm not the first person that said this. I want to show you Terrence Real. Terry Real wrote this book, How Can I Get Through to You? I want to make sure you can see this on screen. And in this book, I don't think the therapy goes anywhere too much. I do better, but that's okay. That's not the point. The point is that he worked with narcissists and he believes he can help them, and he's helped many of them. And even if they didn't get quite through all the therapy, and even if they didn't quite heal all the way from their own past, they learned behaviorally how to live with each other, which is pretty good. It's not a bad thing. It's a good start. We can do more, but that's a good start. So I'm not the only one. And what I practice IFS is not the only thing. So you want to reduce not their significance in your life, no, their negative effect on you. Big difference. Yes, that I will say. When you start believing in yourself and you stop listening to anything they say to you because you realize their perception of reality is distorted because they had to develop this false sense of self as a child, you should feel compassion for them. And you should be thanking the good Lord that you personally are doing better. Instead of saying, well, I'm doing better. Why can't they? Who knows why they can't? They can't. Just be thankful you can. Be who you are. Be proud of who you are. Love who you are. Yes, reduce your dependence on their validating you because they probably aren't able to yet. That's what therapy is for. That's what trauma therapy is for. To get to that bad place they're in, they must have suffered trauma. Okay, second, not okay. Nothing is okay from this terrible video that I'm reviewing. But anyway, point number 2, he says challenge and devalue their false self. Why? Because this will give them narcissistic injury, and that will lead to them being furious. And then he's realizing, you could just see the wheels spinning. Oh, wait a minute, maybe I could get sued for saying this. So he quickly kind of brushes over that piece and says, I mean, this is a video for entertainment, and we want you to take it carefully and be safe. Ah, it's a video for entertainment. Ah, it's not meant to help people. It's meant for him to make YouTube money. I get it. Wait a minute. Isn't exploiting other people for your own benefit, isn't that one of the definitions of narcissism? Okay, I am not going to diagnose this man, and I can't read his mind, and I don't know why he said those things, but it doesn't look very good. Okay. Oh, and he says one more thing. In addition to doing it safely and be safe, the best way to do it is get under their skin by being mocking as they are. Oh, hold on a minute. Is he trying to poke holes in narcissists? Or is he trying to create narcissists out of hurt spouses? Is this what should happen? Should hurt spouses become the very thing that they're supposed to hate and have suffered from? Does that make sense? But that sounds like what he's asking people to do. And number 3 is good. He says, go to therapy to heal. And then he goes back to the same, stick it to him by saying number 4. mess with their narcissistic supply. What's that mean? Sounds like something he made up, but he said he didn't. I'll believe him. I never heard of it. But it means the admiration that they seem to need because they know that their false sense of self isn't real. And so they need this external admiration in order for themselves to be propped up. And if you threaten them, I'm going to go to so-and-so who admires you and tell them the truth about you, that frightens them. And that scares them. Why do you want to do this? I don't get it. But here's a fallacy that it suddenly occurred to me. If in number one, you're telling people, don't be connected to them, give up on that significance in your life that they've had, let them know that you're fine without them, then why do you want to torture them? It seems like a fallacy, a logical contradiction. If you really still want to torture them, you are very attached. You know, I had a professor in school when I was in my graduate program for my doctorate who said something that I never forgot. The difference between the drinker and the non-drinker is the non-drinker sees this glass of any alcohol in front of him and is like, okay. The drinker is like white knuckling it. I want that drink. I want that drink, right? What's that? That's a connection. That's the drinker having a connection and wanting to not have one to the drink. So he is appealing to the fact that people who want to torture the person who hurt them have that deep connection. And he's supplying them with how to torture that person. But the first thing he's saying is, don't be connected. Well, for heaven's sake. He's appealing to the most connected people and telling them your solution is to not be connected. How about appealing to people who have a heart? Because we could skip down to number 3. Go to therapy to heal and get them into therapy to heal so that they won't be a narcissist. That was my first recognition that this guy is coming out of some crazy place. Besides trying to use revenge to teach people to become what they already hated, why would you want that? And it's cruel. It's just plain cruel. So here's my take. My take is be the best human being you are, the person that you were meant to be. Go to therapy with great kindness and love in your heart and not one drop of cruelty or revenge. If you're married to a narcissist or if your parents are narcissists, you can tell them, let's go to therapy together. Now, you can go with your parents because marriage and family therapists like me, MFT, not psychologists, marriage and family therapists do exactly that. They work together with any age group within families. So yeah, you could do that with your parents. You could certainly do that with your spouse. I advise you to do it with a trauma-trained therapist, someone doing something like IFS or the family version, IFIO. And if you're not in New York, email me anyway. You know my email. You should. It comes on all the letters, DrDeb at DrDeb.com. It's in the notes below the live as well, in the description. And I will send you to the right person in your state. That's how much I want for you. Because the people who are supposed to come to me in New York will come to me. And people who want to take my coaching course along with their therapy, that's a perfect combination from any state. I want to know, number one, if I antagonized anybody. I see bunches of these things. That's great. Did I antagonize you? Are you mad at me? Or do you think I'm making sense? I think I'm the only one on the internet who's defending narcissists. Poor kids. I mean, they're grown-ups. They may be 55, but they're run by the little kid inside of them. That's who's running them. The little kid who didn't know what else to do. Poor kids. Please chat. Please tell me. You're all there. I appreciate it. Am I making you mad? Or do you agree? Did I say something that offended you? Do you want to comment anything? I see these thumbs ups, but somebody wrote me they don't know how to find their chat when they're on their live. And I appreciate that. Phones are a pain in the neck. They're so tiny. I can't manipulate phones too well myself. I like a computer screen to work off of. And you may want the anonymity. I get that as well. Many people do. Well, no news is good news. I'll assume you all agree with me since I got some likes on this. All right, you guys, I do want to hear from you about the timing. 9:00 at night is late, but I did promise I might change my Thursday 1:00 in the afternoon to Thursday at 9 if I get enough people on here to make me feel like I'm accommodating a larger crowd. So keep yourself open to hear from me. And you have somebody wrote me. Oh, somebody likes the time. Thank you for saying that. Ooh, well, I might just keep this time then. Okay, I will send out an email letting people know because more people do want the nighttime than the daytime. So that's a good thing. All right, you guys, have a wonderful week. And remember, don't hate your narcissist. All you're doing is being the person you don't want that person to be to you. So don't turn into it. First of all, find compassion and love for you. And second of all, by all means, get that person into therapy. And by the way, if you don't get my emails, go to my website and subscribe, DrDeb.com, right on the front page, and you'll get a free download thingy if I got it working right. I just did it today, and I'm not the best tech person in the universe, but if I didn't, you'll complain, right? You'll let me know. Yeah? Please. Good night, everyone. Take care. End.